from the beginning, I think the cinematography and the lighting worked so well together. I really kind of liked the dark shadows, and I liked the kind of the absence of light at certain points. I really liked it in the beginning as well because, this kid, Manu, I think is how you pronounce it. I think it was from the beginning. I feel like you're kind of set up to not really like him too much. Like his dad comes and gives him new shoes, but he's not really grateful for the new shoes. He's like, well, I have to wear the old ones. And like, he's kind of just saying like, well, whatever to the shoes and not really appreciating kind of what he has. And kind of the irony of Tito's situation in which, everyone's kind of like, oh, Tito's not reliable, or like, to hell with Tito, like he's supposed to show up, but he's not here. And kind of Manu going out of his way to try and find Tito for very selfish reasons because he wants him to come back so they can win this tournament or this championship without actually knowing what Tito's going through. And even you can tell that there's a dichotomy between class, just even based on the comment that I think one of the players made, where he was like, Tito plays barefoot anyway, he's good barefoot, without, I think, fully realizing that he's barefoot because he probably can't afford to buy shoes. Whereas this kid is complaining that his dad buys him brand new cleats. So I think that was very interesting to see as well because the lead actor, he was very good at displaying his emotions and kind of him slowly realizing um, what he has and what Tito doesn't have and what Tito's probably going through as well, which I think made the ending very satisfying.
The piece felt very realistic, almost like a hyper documentary feel, and I thought there were a lot of really great close-ups and intimate shots with the guys, and also contrasted with our central character out in his day of the life that I thought really created a strong internal world that really felt like it had a sense of depth that was easy to relate to, and I thought that the dynamics really worked well in terms of building a coming-of-age drama in a very short amount of time, and I thought that almost all the characters had a really strong sense of their, all the actors, all the performers had a really strong sense of their characters, and they made the piece feel have a level of depth that I found surprising, and I thought that the emotional range on display, especially from the lead character, I thought was quite impressive and well done.
I really liked how we slowly learned more and more about Tito along with Manu as he searches for him. I enjoyed how in the beginning of this short, we have Manu receiving these brand new sneakers from his father, and then slowly we discover how different Tito's financial situation is. Tito is the best player on the team. He can even play barefoot. He doesn't need sneakers, but he's always a flake. He's always somewhere else. He's working an extra job or two. He has a broken bike. He doesn't live where he said he lived. We have Manu slowly realizing the situation that Tito is in and gaining an understanding for why he is the way he is. And I like that we as an audience learn this with him. So yeah, I really enjoyed this short. And I also enjoyed that while Manu is learning more about Tito, he gains this understanding. And in the end, it's him that lies to his friends about why Tito is missing and why he might not be coming. And he lies about finding him or not, which I thought was cool. And it sort of shows a growth for Manu and the way he's recognizing his own privilege and acknowledging that Tito might not be in the same situation as him. And he deserves some leniency there. So I thought that was cool.
The opening sequence sets the plot up quite nicely. The conversations between the team members who hope that Toto will join them in time was a great setup. And as the story progresses, we as the audience get to dive deeper into that plot point about Toto, and we actually start to wonder where he actually is. This creates some great moments of tension and suspense for the plot. I also like how this story revolves around the disappearance of the team member, and how one member of the team sort of seeks him out and discovers his true nature. And instead of helping him or sort of bringing the issue alight to his team members, he rather smiles, almost signaling that he never really liked Toto to begin with, and he's sort of glad that he missed the game, as it's sort of comedic in a sense, but it's also quite thrilling.
This is touching. This is deep, in portraying the relationship, for this kind of age to teenager, which is kind of give the focus on friends, on pals that they're hanging with every day. And from this perspective of underrepresented groups like Latinx, so it's kind of eye-opening. It's different and special than any others other shorts that talk about the friendships like this. So and they're so like aware performance, and they're so good like in terms of like locations selection, and there's some like good angles that kind of like implement it's kind of like complement like the performance and the story as well.
What set it apart for me was the writing, lots of suspense throughout, notably with the edits between the important game and the search for Toto. The performances of the cast were totally believable, a real bird's eye view into the lives of these competitive athletes with a lot on the line. I liked the rock refrains and percussion, the awesome close ups, and the city footage.